Good morning on mission. Thanks for tuning in. We're excited to have you. We have a very special guest today, Tony Bonnallie. Tony owns and operates Mission Motors, which is an amazing car dealership here in the Seattle area. It's not just your typical dealership. Trust me, you'll learn more about that in a minute. You may have seen some of his online commercials. My favorite is, of course, Floppy Guy. For those that have no idea what I'm talking about, here's a clip.
Hey, this is Tony coming to you from Mission Motors in Stanwood. You know what this is? It's $500, all right? And this is Floppy Guy right here. He's coming to you today to say, have a great day.
Hungry Fish Media presents the new podcast On Mission. You know, we are all hungry and eager to help and do what we can during these uncertain times. But there are a few people going above and beyond doing exactly that in these extraordinary set of circumstances. Karen and I thought it would be the perfect time to launch a podcast featuring these amazing individuals and their stories. So friends, welcome to On Mission. We first met Tony back in 2017 when we were producing our show, The Experience, for Uplift TV and Parables TV called The Experience. We were looking for a car sponsorship for one of the episodes, and Tony jumped in as he always does.
We've heard a little bit about your story,
Okay.
and we know that you and your family are in need of a second vehicle coming up. So we would like to be able to bless you with that need.
Yeah, I could use one.
So thank you for that, Tony, and welcome to the podcast.
You're welcome.
Good morning.
Before we jump into, Mission Motors and really what separates Mission Motors from all the other dealerships, we would love to just have you, maybe take a minute or two and just kind of share your story or your testimony, if you don't mind doing that.
Yeah, no.
You have a great testimony, and we'd just love for you to share it.
Yeah, about a little over 10 years ago, I'd spent about 20 years in active addiction with opiates, and I received a miracle healing. I woke up one morning with no urge, no desire, and was healed. And I was a believer up to that point, but not active in searching out Christ or anything like that. And once I got healed, I was like, there's no doubt. All the doubt was removed. I knew who it was. I knew why. And over this next couple weeks, I took some time and was reading some books, Purpose Driven Life and Carpe Diem by Tony Bonnallie, and God spoke to me through that. And because I was like, well, you don't want me to be in the car. I've been in the car business for 35 years now. And I was like, you don't want me to be in the car business. I mean, that's kind of a shady racket. You want me to be a pastor or something. You didn't heal me just to be a guy, right?
Yeah.
He spoke to me clearly and said, no, just use what the gifts I gave you for my kingdom, not your own.
Come on.
So I just sought that out and figured out what he wanted me to do and prayed about it. And he was telling me that basically we support a lot of missionaries around the globe, but our main mission and my main mission and what he had me basically go through was to be able to help people on the streets of our local communities. So we started in Arlington, Washington, and expanded to Stanwood, Washington, eventually expanded to Oak Harbor, but with the mission of helping people on the streets and in our local community. So that's been the journey so far. So
did you kind of fuse the two together, like those two worlds? Do you use your car dealership as like a mission field, or?
Yeah, I'm an unordained pastor is the way I look at it, ordained by Christ, I guess. We speak into people's lives. We get a unique opportunity in this business to get to know people on a level, credit wise, what's going on in their home life. I mean, people just tell you the whole stories. They're trying to get a car loan for the most part, or trying to buy a car. So we don't use that necessarily, but it gives us an opportunity to speak into their lives, give them hope. It might be just praying with somebody before they leave or as they're here, or, we find ourselves a lot of times not selling them a car. We realize that God brought them here for different reasons.
That's amazing.
We're on point to try to find out. I challenge all my employees to find out why the person's here before the car deal.
Wow, man. Yet I told you, not your typical dealership. Man, that's amazing. That's incredible. Wow.
We find that when people let their guards down, right? I mean, they're not expecting it. So it's, I don't want to say sneak attack, but in a way you get to come in quietly. They're not church, they're not they're not expecting it, so to say. So it's you get real honest and raw conversation with people that then we can know what to pray for them for, or what to help them out with, and all that stuff. So
let me ask you this real quick. So back to your testimony a minute ago. When you received the miracle, was it instantaneous? Was it a gradual thing, or did you know right away when it happened? Hey,
it was, I woke up one morning literally and had zero urges. I told my wife, I said, hey, our marriage was in disarray, obviously, because of my addiction. And I told her, I said, hey, I get if you want to leave me, or you want me to move out. But I woke up this morning with no urges. I'm going to go detox. And we had a house with a bedroom in the back. I said, I'm going to go back there for, I don't know how long, 2 weeks, whatever it takes. If you wouldn't mind me doing that. And then after that, we can discuss it. And it literally was 3 days I was in there, which was a miracle. I was using a lot at that point. And came out, and she said, no, there's something different. I can tell there's something different this time. And, I'd been using for 20 years, but really actively hardcore for the last 10. And she said, this is just different. I can tell you're different. So let's work on it and see where it goes from here.
Wow, amen to that.
So, yeah,
how are you guys dealing with the coronavirus right now? How are you guys?
What
are you doing to stay sane?
Are you still selling cars?
We're not really selling cars. We were deemed non-essential. So we had to shut down for a few days, and then we could appointment only sell to essential employees, but really there's just nobody coming in. So quite honestly, what I'm using time for is kind of reinvent a little bit of our business, things that I wanted to do in the past I've never had a chance to do because we grew pretty fast. And I will just say this, I wanted to share this today, that over the last couple of years, I shut down my Oak Harbor store. And then recently, back in January, it would have been December of this year, I shut down my Arlington store. And
I know that.
During the time, I was like, all right, God, I trust in God. I knew he had a plan, but I didn't know what it was. But now looking at it, if I hadn't done that, there is no way the business could survive the time right now. And I'm so grateful. And I wanted to share that because a lot of people need the hope, and I have lots of hope now, and knowing literally, if he'd done this, if this had happened with 3 stores, there's no way I could survive, but I could survive this. And it's a kind of a reset and a chance to kind of do some things. I want to explore some in-house financing options, and I'm really working on some business ideas and things to come out of this. So I've got a really core group of people that have stuck with us, and it's been really, really cool to see. At home, we're doing a lot of home projects. I'm still coming to work every day, but we're consistently praying. We're pouring into the Word, and we also, me and my wife have a thing called Fusion that we started about 5-6 months ago. And we, in the Stanwood community, feel that there's a real need. There's a real disconnect in this community, hard heart, if you would say. And we always have people against our business because we're Christians. So we're constantly under attack. Nothing like it was in Arlington or Oak Harbor. We were welcomed with open arms in those 2 cities. And it's fitting that God has chosen this store to stay open. And so we've embarked on this fusion journey, and what we're trying to do is get local businesses together to support basically the vision that God gave me for my business, which is helping people on the streets and the community. So
wow, it's amazing, like when we're in it and we don't really know what God's plan is, but yet when you trust him, eventually it unfolds, kind of like it did with your couple of lots there. Our pastor had a really good sermon this past Sunday about how, during these uncertain times, you can either throw down palm leaves or you can throw stones, throw rocks. I noticed, I follow you quite a bit on social media. I noticed that you said, this is our Super Bowl. Can you take that a step further and explain what you meant by that?
Well, I feel like I've been getting trained for quite a while with the things I've been through and things that I've dealt with. I shared on that video that I've dealt last year was a lot of fear for me. I felt a lot of fear. And I worked with other people and a pastor that I know and a life coach and worked our way through it. And he actually back in, it had to be October, he looked at me and he said, Tony, this is about you. And it was fear because I was going to be having to shut down a store, and I'd shut down Oak Harbor in January, and where's this going and all this stuff, right? And he said, this is about you. And when he said it, there was a look on his face, and I knew it was from God. This was about me. So I really dove into that and started working on the fear aspect of it and just trusting God. I mean, he healed me. It was a struggle why I didn't have that trust, you know. I started trusting God, and I really feel as Christians, this is our Super Bowl, to be able to speak into people's lives. There's so much fear out there. And by looking back at what I went through, it was like I was in the gym 4 times a day working on fear. I mean, he had me, you know, bench pressing thousands of pounds working on it. So it was heavy on me. But I really feel this is our time to shine. You know, I just imagine myself right now. I picture myself walking around with a headlight or with a, you know, flashlight on my head.
Yeah.
And I'm looking into the darkness, and what do I see, and where can I speak into it? Where can we you know, praise Jesus in this, and how do we spread the good news, and, you know, all that good stuff. So that's what I feel.
Wow.
Love it.
That's amazing. Okay. So, you know, with your experience with using, you know, your testimony there, what would you say to people? You know, it's scary times, you know, unemployment.
Especially if you're struggling with addiction, going back to the addiction, if you're not
And
keeping if you're isolation and those type of
You know,
things.
what would you say to
What are
people
you-
that are, you know, depressed and isolated right now?
Well, even look at the news. I mean, liquor sales are up 50% right now. I mean, that's huge, right? So what are people doing? They're staying home and drinking. You
Yeah.
know?
Yeah.
And it doesn't account for the illegal drug use because they can't really monitor that, right? I would just say, all we can do all the time is press into God, right? It's easy for me. I even found myself at the very, very beginning of this, not getting up early and not spending my time with God, right? I'm like, oh, sleep in, and then all of a sudden I get up and have things to do, and the wife's like, hey, go paint this or whatever, so I'm off to my day. Over the last 2 weeks, I've really gone back into spending my time with God in the morning and hearing what he has for us all in this time, right? And I think that it's easier to reach out now than it ever has been via social media. So
Yeah.
I just impress into people to don't waste your time on social media as far as just scrolling, but communicate through there if you have to. You know, you can get a virtual hug through social media. You can put what you're really feeling, and people can pour into you at that point. So, and I think there's a unique opportunity for most of us right now, and that's what we're using Fusion for now. I've taken a pause on Fusion for just a little bit here. I haven't felt God saying move on it yet.
Yep.
I do believe there's a time more when we ramp up to come out of this, right? Is what I really feel right now. Our company went through the OSO slide. You know, if you guys remember that, 6 years ago now. And same thing I felt then was more at the time for the need. There was a lot of things that helped, you know, a lot of services came in and helped, but it was more down the road. What can we do? A year down the road, 6 months down the road. And that's where we really felt the needs from people that were almost felt abandoned after it was over, you know, like, okay, news media is not here. We're not really helping out anymore. So we were able to step in, and we continued helping those victims for a year to 2 years after that. So, and I feel the same thing here. What are we all going to do when this is over? You know, maybe we're stuck at home right now, but, you know, put as much hope as we can out there now. But I think there's going to be so many more questions when this is over for people.
Well, I know, you know, you use your dealership as mission field, and you can't use that right now, but I have been following you, and I see that you're giving a lot of people encouragement and hope on social media. So I always appreciate that.
I would say this coming out of this is a great time to be looking. If you've got dreams and you got hopes and you got, you know, maybe a business that you've thought of for years, this is a great time to be looking into it, because you're going to start, everybody's starting over. They're you know, corporations are even going to be starting over at this point. Everybody's starting from ground zero. So if you have a dream and a desire, ask God, what can you do after this? How can this, you know, plan for it now, you know, and be seeking out God in this time of, hey, you've had this spark in my heart for a while. Is this the time to do it? You know? I mean, many people would have said that I couldn't do it after I just came out of addiction, but God brought the resources. So he gave me the talent, and he supplied the resources. So
Wow.
Awesome.
that's why I think take this time and instead of just sitting at home and watching the news and watching social media, but take this time and really even get yourself a notepad, yellow pad, piece of paper, or if you take notes on the computer or whatever, just put down notes. What are you hearing? What do you feel? All that good stuff right now.
What are you and your family doing? What during this time? Like, how are you keeping sane?
I don't know if sane's the right word. My kids actually, so we went to Hawaii right before this started. And we were seeing our girl. We have two daughters that were in YWAM. Our oldest daughter went to YWAM, and YWAM is Youth with a Mission. It's for those who don't know what it's about. But they send the kids out on these DTSs, discipleship. Well, they go to DTS, discipleship training school, and they send them out on missions outreach. And we were going down there to say see you because they were leaving for their 3-month outreach at that point. And then this all started happening. And there were, it was already kind of happening, but we kept saying, hey, is YWAM saying anything about it? What are they doing? And the day we got there, which was great because we feel God put us there that day, it was announced that they all had to come home.
The day you got to Hawaii.
The day we got to Hawaii, yeah. And we just know God put us there because we had two girls that had crushed hearts, right? They didn't understand. They hadn't really heard a lot about it other than me questioning them, like, hey, what's YWAM doing about this coronavirus? And YWAM was great. They weren't afraid of the virus. They know God's bigger than the virus, but they didn't want any students left abroad, which is smart. So they said, hey, everybody go home. And then Hawaii mandated that everybody leave right after that. So my girls are home with that.
That's a blessing from God in a way.
It really is. It's now as bad as it's gotten to see that he brought him home to us and that we get to spend the time at home with them. So as a family, we're just working around the house a lot. We have a house that we don't get to work on much in the summer because we have a lot of people that come over. So I have a list that's like 6 years old of stuff we need to do. The girls are helping out. They're actually doing a lot of YWAM discipleship over Zoom and stuff right now. I'll tell you what, it warms my heart when my kids are up at night and they're on a Zoom call and they're praying with each other and they're helping each other. They're doing a lot of stuff online as far as helping other kids and pouring into other people's lives and stuff. So, but we're still kind of busy, so we haven't had a lot of time to just sit around. If I'm being brutally honest, the enemy has tried to attack us a couple times through me, and my kids have stopped and prayed for me, which has been great. But I'm personally, I'm on a 7-day fast right now because I really want to see more of what God has in store for us as a family right now. So we're just spending time together, working on the house, and hanging out, playing some games. We got worship music playing in the house pretty loud today for the most part, trying to keep our spirits up. So that's what we're doing.
Right on. Well, can you tell us, share with the audience where they can find you guys after all this is over? When they need a car, how do they find you?
Well, and not even if you need a car. If someone needs prayer, if someone needs advice on a car, that's more what we're here for. I've been doing this so long that if you're even buying a new car somewhere else and you want, hey, what's invoice? What should it be? What should I be paying? What's my trade worth? All that stuff. Feel free to hit me up. But you can go to missionforthepeople.com and you have to put your information in there, and one of my staff will get back to you. And if you want to reach out to me, just put in there, hey, I'd like a call from Tony or whatever. Or if you call, our phone number is 360-939-2617. And you can just ask for me personally, and I'll be more than happy to discuss whatever you have. I mean, we put it out. You saw one of our videos where we put out that we're just trying to help the community. We've delivered diapers. We've delivered gift cards. We had some people come in the other day and thank us. We gave them another gift card for gas because they were going to work, and it wasn't even directly coronavirus related, but they just needed help. So that's the kind of stuff that we feel God's put us in business for. It isn't to take. And one thing that God did say was when he gave it for his and to not take, but to give back. So
Give back.
Yep.
Amen, man. I think that's a good point to end on.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much, man. Bless you. You've certainly been a blessing to us, and we wish you guys all the best, and we're praying for the dealership and you and your girls, and we just love you guys, man.
Yeah, we love you too. I'll always remember the day we were discussing the episode, right? And we were at Stilly Diner with you guys and
yeah,
got the diagnosis for your daughter that day. That was,
Right. Yeah.
I'll always remember that, and how great God's been through that for you guys. I mean, it's not been easy, I know.
When we were in it, we didn't understand the plan, what he was doing or how he was going to do it. You just got to lean in and trust, man.
Yeah,
A lot harder. It's tough, but
Yeah, I remember us all sitting there and just praying about it, and I was there day one for that. So watching the journey and praying for you guys. So
Thanks.
we appreciate it so much, man.
all right, well, take care during this and keep up the good work.
All right. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Hey guys, thanks for watching. We hope it encouraged you today. I think Tony said it best. This is a great time to give back. It's the perfect message to end season 1 of the On Mission podcast. We hope you've had as much fun watching as we've had doing these interviews. You can find all 12 episodes on your favorite podcast players. Stay positive, stay in the Word, and stay connected. Until next time, peace.